Chaos Cloth in Unreal Engine felt like, well, chaos. The workflow was way too heavy and I prefer to pre-simulate my garments in Cloth3D and importing them to Unreal. And in my last video I showed you how to set up the Cloth/Marvelous Designer plugin for Unreal Engine. If you missed this video, you find the link somewhere here. But today things got way easier. With the latest version of Unreal 5.6 and Cloth3D, you can now set up your garment with a few clicks. There are no more Blender detours. Rigging and weight painting are now fully integrated. And in this video I want to walk you through my workflow, which is A, rigging a garment to a Metahuman, and B, rigging a garment to a Metahuman, but setting also up the Chaos Cloth file. And as bonus, I also show you how to set up the physics of your Metahuman to match them. Okay, so I created the shoes and I also set up the UV. See here in the UV editor. If you're interested how you can set up UVs this perfectly, I also can make a tutorial for this. But we just want to import the shoes. They are matching already to my Metahuman avatar, which is important. What we do now to import is just going to open the Cloth Marvelous Designer Live Sync mode. And before hitting the update button, I select single object, thin, include UV coordinates, include garment simulation data. Is probably not necessary for this, but I just selected. I deselect the avatar and keep translucent. And I'm pressing the update button. Yes, thank you. And we have the shoes now here. And they not completely matching, they're a bit lower because the platform is so high, so I'm moving my ground a bit lower. And you can just ignore this prompt here. Here I added my Metahuman and you see it's perfectly matching. Now what we do next is saving this, and we just save it. And with the right mouse click on content, I create a new folder which I call Cloth and hit OK. And with a second it's already uploaded because it's no animation cache included, which makes it way easier. I select my Cloth folder, go to the loafers shoes. This is how I named my Cloth file. And then I select static mesh and I have here my S garment. So it's a static mesh. And now we want to convert it to a skeleton mesh. So with a right mouse click, I go to convert to skeleton mesh. In the drop down menu, I'm taking use existing skeleton mesh. And then I select my Metahuman, matching Metahuman body. In my case, it's female, tall, underweight body. And then convert. And it's also in a second created. I didn't speed it up, it's really that fast. I open this with a double click. And actually, if you want to see the bones inside of your skeleton mesh, you go to the little eye here, bones, and then like all hierarchy. And then you see the skeleton mesh integrated. Now we need to transfer the weights. Therefore, I go to edit weight. I open weight transfer, selecting again my Metahuman body, and if you scroll out you see it like appearing next to your skeleton mesh. Then here you click on transfer weights and accept, and that's it. We can test it now. So if you move your leg, it's moving, and that's it. I mean, oh my god, what long workflow did I have in past to like create this weight paint and edit it. You can also paint the maps and like have here options. You can also optimize your model, but in my case it's even not necessary. I tested this before and it works like perfect. So the next thing is, if I'm like saving this now, and just in case, I'm also going to file save all. I select now my Metahuman and go to edit blueprint. I change to viewport, and what I'm doing actually is to go to the feet and select the skeleton meshes set, which you find here in the drop-down. I'm quickly importing some animations so we can test it immediately. So I created a sequence to just test the shoes and the boots now, and I see that something happened with the textures, and I had it also in past, so I know what to do. No worries. Go back to your Metahuman blueprint and remove the material and adding it again. I think it took this unified material. I take this one below and then I save it again. Let's see. Now it's working. Oh, thank God. Oh my God. Yeah. So now I'm testing this, and sorry, it's not in place. It's walking, but you see I have this lovely animations and it's working so well. I'm really happy. Okay, oops, stop and back. Well done. This was number 1 for static meshes. It's very easy, convenient. So yeah, I'm super happy. I'm still excited about this, as you recognize. So for the second workflow, I have this garment here, which I created. It was a bit more complicated, and I just want to like simulate the skirt in real time and nothing else. I recognize whenever you have double layers, so for example, like the tie, I wanted to simulate it as well, but it was intersecting with the layers, and you can set up a workflow where it's not intersecting, but it's in beta version still, and it seems to be very complicated. I looked up into the manual from Unreal Engine, and yeah, I'm not an Unreal developer, so I didn't want to touch it. Mainly what we want to do is like rigging this outfit and having like this skirt running in real time, and that's it. So again, my UV tiles are set up. I'm actually using not unified maps, I just use texture repeat because I made this new UV layout and don't want to texture it again. Normally I'm texturing in Substance. What I recognize is when you weight paint later during this process, it's not taking your UV editor layout, it's taking the 2D window layout. So probably make sure that everything is cleaned up, especially if you want to weight paint something. Just place it that it's easy for you to weight paint. So I think even the UV editor setup would make it a bit difficult to find like the right piece which you want to weight paint. I don't know if it's normal. I'm not a weight paint expert, but I will become now. And going back to Unreal, I'm switching to the Cloth Marvelous Designer Live thing. And in this case, we need to change some settings. Instead of single object, we have multiple objects. I keep thin, you could also use thick, unified UV coordinates, and this time it's really important to have the include garment simulation data. And then we first update again. And this can take some moments depending on your garment and the data which is included. And here it is, we have the preview and it's looking good. And this time we're saving it as cloth. So I just hit the button, I go to my cloth folder and press OK and save selected. There's this message popping up and it does not matter. So back in the content folder, I go to my cloth folder, and now you see that we have already set up a chaos cloth asset and also this data flow thing, which we don't need to touch. I just select this CA cloth. I could even rename it by pressing F2. I call it office look. Oh, it changed already, the icon. Hello. I'm actually not sure if you need to enable more plugins. Just if you go to your plugins, wait, I do it a bit slower. If you go to edit plugins and then like typing in chaos, I have actually these plugins enabled. So probably you do it first. I have the chaos caching USD because we're using a USD file from Cloth. Chaos cloth should be selected, chaos cloth assets and chaos cloth asset editor. Everything chaos cloth inside, I don't know. I think the rest is just like anyways enabled, and might be that you need to like restart Unreal. But we are now here in our chaos cloth editor, and you see this node graph below where you have also some descriptions on top, which you can also read. It's quite handy. I first select my USD import and see that my garment is here imported automatically. And the next thing we have to do is like transfer skin weights. So we got the error message that there's no skeletal mesh included in the garment. So we're just adding again our female body. And then we have weight map max distance, which we select. And here we can weight paint. So you see it's exactly the same as in your 2D window. And on the left side, you find like all the tools you can use. Mainly it's like you masking stuff in and out with black and white. And you can here go from brush to fill, lasso. This is also kind of like handy. But I just select the brush, and below the brush you have the brush mode, which you can switch between paint and smooth. The brush size I want to make smaller. So I think this is a good size. And then the attribute value is actually like you switch from 1, which is white, to 0, which is black, and you can like paint again So we stay with 1. Here also you have the strengthen. I just keep it like this, and then I'm like painting. Yeah, paint more up. Paint. I just leave a bit of like black stripe on top and switching the mode to smooth. And then I can like smooth it out a bit. Okay, good. Once you finish, you press the accept button and it's already happening. You see that your skirt is kind of like jumping around, and I will correct the weight paint later. One thing you could also change here from 2D to 3D. So we could even say, I want to brush back here a bit more, like this is too much. I'm going to 0. And by the way, if you want to stop the simulation here, you just press here the pause button. You can also soft reset and reset to get back to your former view. And I'm just painting this a bit more out for now. I should do it later because we didn't set up everything correctly. It's stupid to do it now. Just do it on the front. Accept. Next we have the simulation max distance configuration, I guess it means. I saw in the Marvelous Designer tutorial that they set it to 40 and I'm not questioning it for now. And then we have a lot of like notes here for the setup of the simulation. So if you go, for example, to simulation banding configuration, you see here all these little blue things, which means that it's enabling the settings from Cloth/Marvelous Designer. So all your fabric settings are set from the setting you have in Marvelous Designer or Cloth. Now we come to set the physics assets, which is here. And mainly this is like what we fill in now our avatar. So again, we have here on the right side the drop down menu and we go we select our body type. And I also go in the little folder because I want to show you here you find also in the content browser your physics assets for your avatar. And here you see the physics and how they set up. So actually it's this capsule. And you see it's not properly matching on some parts of the body because, for example, the garment could intersect here as well as probably it's a bit too much on the neckline. And I saw another tutorial which was really helpful, so I just want to show quickly how you can change it. So we select for min bone size a value of 5, then instead of capsule, single convex hull, and then generate all bodies. I just close this window and now you see you have a way better matching thing here. The only thing is you don't have it for the color. So oh shit, I hope it's working. What you could also do, as you see, actually it's probably not perfectly matching somewhere, or you want to have like a bit more, then you could just like resize it. How is it working? So you could resize it and then the collision is setting a bit more far in distance. But I don't want to do it. Okay, I save this now and going back to my Chaos Cloth. So we set up the physics. We can also select a preview mesh, this one here, and then again play, and I stop it for now. Now we go to the simulation collision configuration, which is the next one. I make sure that this one is active, which is already. Also for the self collision, I select. So we have simulation self-collision sphere configuration, and this is exactly what I mean if you have like several layers in your garment. You could set up here a system to define the layers of your garment. I'm not sure how it's working, so yeah, there's a manual for Chaos Cloth Unreal Engine where they're like partly describing it, but I don't know. I just set this up also to active, and it's helping a bit. See, it's way better. It's still breaking on some parts, but we not finished with our settings. I also go to simulation solver config LOD 0 and I set this one to 1 and this one to 8. And it's same as if you simulate a garment in Cloth and animate it in your animation window. You have the number of iterations, and as higher it is, as better is the outcome. So if we go and like making this one to 3, it should also improve our simulation and make the drape way nicer, but it's also slowing down in the render time. So if we set this a bit more up, yeah, it's getting nicer, I like it. Also we have the simulation collision config, which is here, and to enable the values from Cloth, like collision thickness, friction, and also cloth collision thickness. You can enable these settings from your USD file by pressing the blue button. And it looks so much better, but now we have a collision in our avatar. Shit, I made it too fast. Maybe this one? I think this one is like too low actually. What happened? Now it's always like going into the body. Let's just continue. Yeah. The last thing we can do is like setting also a bit of wind, which brings a nice like fluent simulation to the garment. So we have the simulation aerodynamics config, and you have here wind velocity, which I can set to 0.0, and here maybe we make 10. I'm just checking how it's looking. So you constantly have wind, and now it's just sometimes going into the body. I think we can accept it. I like now that the edge is working better and also the rest, but I don't know why the physics of the body not like counting any longer. Maybe we could go back to our avatar and setting this a bit bigger. I'm also afraid of touching it. Like here, nothing is happening. I'm not sure if this is a good idea. We should find the right thing. We could also do like min bone size, higher the value to 7. Not sure if we need to generate everything again. I guess yes. Okay, we save and then play again. Yes, yes, it worked. Am I wrong? Oh, it's so pretty. Can't believe. Okay, I tested this before, but it was not working that well. Oh, good. Good and happy. Yeah, I also made a version where I had like a skirt below and it was always intersecting. Now I'm quite happy that the pleats are not coming up all the time. I mean, it's still clipping a bit, but you know now how to improve. If you make the bones too wide, then it's also getting like a strange edge. So I would not recommend this, but it's actually looking quite well. So the last thing they also do in the Marvelous Design tutorial is to break this link that we're not using the 2. Just do it at the end, because every time you're changing something, there's this message popping up, which is a bit annoying. I'm saving again, save selected, and now I'm opening again my blueprint of my Metahuman, adding chaos, I think it's this one, chaos cloth component, and I'm moving it below the body, but it's the wrong thing. Wait, it's called different. I save it and I'm closing it, and it should be here. And it's, why is it not showing up? No. Ah, yeah, now it is. So it was not showing up in the first round. Just close your Metahuman blueprint and close kind of like also the chaos cloth, save everything, and now it's showing up. So I'm just like adding now chaos cloth component, hit enter, and I'm moving it below the body. That's also important, move it below the body. Otherwise it's not moving with the body. I press compile and save it, and I'm closing it. And now if we go back to our sequencer and I hit play, it's not perfectly working for the running. No, it's working. It just looked like clipping. But it's also static. It's kind of like just a static mesh. So to enable it, you need to press here the play button. Okay. And normally it should like run also. Now it's working. It crashed one time. Now it's working, and probably this walk is a bit too like hectic. So I can also check another one. So if you want to go out of the simulation mode, you just press here this little stop button. I'm actually adding a different simulation, a different animation, which is probably a bit more smooth. And now again, I'm pressing the play button to start the simulation, and then like hitting play. And you can improve all the settings now and doing different more weight paint. And maybe it would also help to have just a completely rigged garment, which is also not too bad. So I saved everything in my Cloth folder. I'm opening this one again, and maybe we could just go to the weight paint, changing the brush size, this to 0. So I painted the weights a bit different. There are also some other settings which could help to improve. I didn't go further, but mainly I just wanted to go over the workflow from Cloth to Unreal without using any other software. And yeah, here we are. Well, since Chaos Claws is still partly beta version, I guess there's still a lot of room to improve. But real-time rendering and rigging is definitely a time saver, and I will integrate it in future into my workflows. But I will also still use a mix of pre-simulated garment whenever it's necessary. And in general, it makes it way faster to create your characters and using metahumans. I hope you found this video helpful. If you're interested in more content like this, just hit the subscribe button. For any questions or feedbacks, leave them in the comments.